weighing in at 223 pounds from Pueblo, Colorado, fighting in Haymakers for Hope. It's going down at the Rumble in the Rockies 6, Ray Tomsick. What's up, man? Thanks for joining the IMFROMDENVER podcast. Good, man. It's exciting to have you on. I know you're boys with Jake, but this is a big deal, and we're all about giving back to the community, and and just good causes, and that's what you got going on with Haymakers for Hope, right?
Correct. And just one correction: 223 was when I filled out the app, my man. I'm down to 203. 203 is fight weight, brother, and I'm already there, and I'm 4.5 weeks out, and I'm on point on my weight. So that was a long fatness ago.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I mean, I know the viewers don't know, I know all of our friends do, but Ray and I actually came up together, and so I know Ray went to Pomona, and I know he played football at Pomona, so I got to ask, what was your high school playing weight? When you were
Why you got to be a dick?
Are you getting around that?
No, dude. I was like, I think maybe like soaking wet. I was maybe 170. Yeah. With our weight gain program to go to McDonald's and eat 2 Big Macs every day.
I know, right? It was good back then.
Hey, Jake, are you able to adjust your levels a little bit and turn them up?
Yeah,
there we go.
Everything's totally up.
Okay, well, get right in that mic because it was just a little quiet right there, and I got you potted up. Cool. So what was the Big Mac diet? So you guys played together? And you guys had regiments?
No, Jake's not as old as me. Gosh, Jake, you want him to? You're gonna. He's insulting you. I'm 47. I'm 47. Right, I think Jake, what are you, 44 now? 43. Oh, see, now like you get mad at me, but not him.
Hey, I'm not mad, man. Listen, man. Listen, with age comes distinction and respect and all that stuff, man. So I got to respect my elders.
No, Jake and I, we didn't meet until after we were both. Well, I was out of college, and I never graduated, but I went to a lot of different colleges in Colorado. I mean, first fight night almost was on a golf course between Jake and I.
That's right. That's right. When Ray and I first met, and give you guys a little bit of background, I mean, Ray and I have known each other for about 20 years here. He's, I would say, one of the most distinguished, best mortgage brokers / real estate agents here in town. He's the only guy that I've ever trusted with any of my finances on that side of the fence. I mean, any real estate transaction that I've done has him involved in it in one way or another. Even back in the MMJ America days, works a lot with the VA and the veterans on their getting their loans done and for them for home buyers. So very cool. But when Ray and I first met, we had a lot of pits and vinegar in our veins at a charity golf tournament.
The charity golf tournament.
Overserved myself. Yeah. I wasn't overserved. I overserved myself. I was like 22 years old, and Ray didn't think I was as funny as I thought I was, and we almost got into a fist fight right there on the golf course.
Good old days.
Well,
good old days.
You do have a real fight coming up for a cause on June 13th. Yes, it's going down at the Mission Ballroom. Haymakers for Hope mission is to knock out cancer the only way that they know how, by literally fighting for a cure, and that's what you're doing. So you actually are training right now. How long have you been training?
So I started. A couple months. I started. Jake and I's mutual friend Chase Campbell, who fought in this last year, who was also the number one raiser with donations. I think he raised just a little, right around 33,000, which is awesome. But he was the number one raiser for that. He also owns Mile High Spirit. Is one of the owners of Mile High Spirits. Great guy. So he did it last year, and then he took me into the boxing gym. First time ever in a boxing gym was on January 26th. And that day,
outside of the golf course,
which is amazing because Ray's got 40 bar fights under his belt before
but that's a whole different thing, bro. And I found that out damn quick, And those bar fights were a long time ago, people.
So yeah, keep going, man. Tell us about the first when you first go into TOS, right? Which I've trained with DeVero for a long time, but TOS is a different animal, man. And when we say TOS, it's Touch of Sleep, which is DeVero's old fighting name. He was at one time ranked, I think, the number 3 heavyweight in the world with Don King. as his promoter. And so yeah, that the boxing gym is
I
out of
didn't know the
control.
Don King thing.
It's you.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
But yeah, and he's
You're
also
getting trained by the best, man.
he's also one of 3 boxers in the state of Colorado that's in the Colorado Hall of Fame, which is awesome. The first one being Jack Dempsey in 1965. So like when you're in the company of Jack Dempsey, 1965, right? And then in his Colorado Hall of Fame class, induction class, he was inducted with Eddie McCaffrey. So I mean, you're talking about heavy hitters here. You know what I'm saying?
So were you intimidated walking in there? I mean,
yes.
all right, whatever. You did your bar fights and all that stuff, but it's like you're going to a professional boxing training session, and with one of the best out that there is to ever do it. Like, but you know this is for a cause. So are you going in there thinking, it's just for a charity event? This isn't going to be that intense, or were you like, oh no, I know this is going to be.
I hope when I jump in this ocean and start drowning, somehow I'm going to learn how to swim really quick. You know what I'm saying? And going in there.
DeVille's good about that kind of stuff, man. I mean, he knows the level that you're at. He also knows he's going to push you as close to the edge as humanly possible.
Yeah, but the first day we're in there, and so Matt Runyon and I, he's another guy fighting out of TOS for Haymakers for Hope. We have 6 people fighting out of our gym for Haymakers for Hope, which is super awesome because we've developed very much of a team aspect for this whole thing. And Matt Runyon and I, he never had trained boxing either. So he knows Chase. So first day I met Matt, I picked him up. We go to the gym. I think that was like a 7 a.m. session, and it was just right at it, man. Dips, pull-ups, pushing a sled. I didn't even push a sled. I don't even think those existed when I was in high school. Now that I sound like 90, but like, pushing a sled.
They existed, man. They existed. You just went to promote them, man. It's all
hey,
good.
brother, we were good, baby, though. Don't get it twisted.
I gotta talk a little shit. It's all good.
All right, so there's 6 guys that are boxing. Is everyone first time boxing? Have they done
so
this
with
before?
Haymakers for Hope? You can only. It has to be your first amateur fight because this is a sanctioned bout by USA Boxing. So somehow in the world that we live in today, Ray Tomsick is a amateur USA boxer. Like go figure. Like
I gotta meet the lawyer that drew that contract, man. That's like the dude from the Great White Hype, dude. Remember that?
Samuel L. Jackson.
He's sanctioned. He's fine.
All right, so you're finding another boxer that hasn't fought before. That's cool. I mean, the last thing you want to do is go against someone who's got like 3 fights under his belt, and this is your first one.
Well, that's the thing is they won't let him do that because if anybody did, they has to be their first fight because if they were trained and they are, highly trained people that are going into this kind of a charity, they'll hurt somebody. And I think Ray can probably explain that from firsthand knowledge of going in kind of cold and learning how to box now, like probably the respect for the sport that comes out of that. It's immense because you go in there and you box guys that really are fighters that literally you outweigh by 30 pounds that can beat your ass literally with one hand behind their back.
How many
Ray,
rounds
have you experienced any of that?
Well, for Jake's first question is so Matt and I want to say maybe day 3. I don't know. It's been a journey, right? Since I started on January 26th. But when Matt and I went in there, we're doing all this stuff. I'm just hoping I'm going to survive. Right. And then as Jake knows, I'm a lot of things, but one of them isn't a quitter. So it was like, it's either do this or die. And don't get it twisted. In my head, I was like, I might die. This is the most intense thing I've done in very, 20 plus years. Right. So yeah. And so it's 3 rounds, 3 2-minute rounds. And it's kind of wild when you think about that, on the professional level, what they do, but even on this level, man, I mean, we are training and then you get a minute in between each one, right? So a total of 8 minutes, essentially. And I'm doing 4.5 months of training for 8 minutes of my life, but it's I have about a month left, but it's been the most fulfilling thing that I've done. But it's crazy, it's wild. And then going back to Jake's thing, there's a guy in our gym, Rocky. He just fought, and his nickname's Rocky. I don't know his God-given name, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has a nickname, right? I just learned that one of my assistant coaches, Sweet, who was the first person we sparred, his first name was Richard, and I learned that 2 days ago, and I've been hanging out with this dude 5 to 6 days a week for the last 4 months. It's just Sweet. Bro, Sweet gets in there the first day sparring. He wears a 20-pound weight vest. And he's bigger than us already, but he's wearing a 20-pound weight vest. He can only use his left jab, and he has to go Matt and I back to back, one round. And he was exerting as much energy as I say somebody would, like grocery shopping. And I was going to die.
Not trying. He wasn't even trying. Is basically
not at all. And then he would tag me up.
It's incredible. It's incredible the shape that you get in for 8 minutes, right? Just 8 minutes, right? That you're gonna do this thing, and like the amount of training that goes into it, and the amount of training that a guy like that has, and I mean, legitimately, how good these guys are. That like it doesn't get appreciated the amount of time and training that goes into an actual fight, because on TV they make it look easy. Yeah. But
it's a 30-second montage.
Extremely difficult.
30-second montage, lifting a log over your head. That you can't do it in the beginning, and at the end you're putting it over your head. So he's not trying hard, but is he also like guiding you and saying, "Hey, do this, throw this"? Like, is he giving you advice?
He's giving me advice, but then DeVeryl's on the outside too. So you have your guy in there. He's giving you advice. Jennifer, DeVeryl's wife, who's amazing. I still haven't seen it, but she's videoing it with her phone. Like, talk about being vulnerable. I would have rather been in there naked than like seeing what was going on, because like he's tagging me up and I'm going, ow, ooh, and then afterwards Sweet's like, hey man, you know when you actually fight you can't do that, right? And I was like, I'll get there, bro. But I mean, Jennifer's like laughing because it was like I was like a human video game. It was like popping. I was like, ooh, ooh.
Oh my God, he's like a
100%. It was like I was like a little Pillsbury Doughboy. Punched me in the stomach and I made a noise.
Okay, so talk about it's a charity for a cause. You're training, you're doing all these things. Who are you fighting for? Do you fight for an individual? Is that the type of thing here? And then how are you actually raising money for that?
So I fought. So when we did our media day, I had this picture held up here, right? So not everybody is cancer. That's my mother right there. She passed away she passed away about a month into training, 3 to 4 weeks into training, and she did not have cancer. She had MS. However, the reason for a couple years I would go and hanging out with my parents, do family stuff, and my mom was in a wheelchair for over a decade. And I would kind of think to myself, sometimes a little buzzed up, I'd be like, dude, this is BS. I'm spending more time on a bar stool and my mom can't even walk across the room. Right? Like this is, I have to
literally beating yourself up mentally.
Yeah, 100%. I can do these things. And my mom would, have given the world just to get up and walk across the room to give us a hug. Right. So it would always stick with me. But then guess what? I would end up back on the bar stool. Right. So, not that I'm like some crazy freaking alcoholic or something, but I
think you're making yourself sound like
and I don't want to do that. But I mean, I was spending my time. Yeah. If I could change what I did,
this is an example.
Yeah, exactly. Like let's make boxing gym the full-time thing or the main thing, right? And then have some drinks and have some fun. 100%. It's not like I was a drunk, but in the same sense, I wasn't living the fullest I could live, and my mom wasn't able to, physically live the fullest she could.
When
live.
you have all these full capabilities of doing things that others don't, or that someone can't go out and enjoy the simple things in life just for whatever reason, cancer, MS, whatever.
1,000%. So like,
it's cool that it affected you like that.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? Like I like the fact that that's how you were viewing it. Because a lot of people could dip into that depressive side of it,
and whereas the bar.
you took it as more of a motivational time to say, hey, somebody would literally kill to be able to do what I can do, and I'm taking it for granted. So I think that's I think that's a great
thanks, bro. And I think you like this one, Jake. There's another really motivational thing. Like I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, a lot of Jocko Willinks, and Joe Rogan has this thing that Akira the Don, I think is his name, a DJ. He put it to music, and it's called Be the hero of your own story. It's pretty cool to listen to. Yeah. And then Jocko has a thing where he's talking about like, just keep fighting, don't matter how old you are. And then on the Jocko thing, he has this guy that I saw on their website. He's a veteran with, I believe he both legs are amputated, one arm amputated.
Yeah, I've seen him.
And that dude's out there rolling jiu-jitsu and shooting guns and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, come on. Again, like, just on the motivational fact, like, that's awesome. And he's having so much fun. It's not like these things are, going and, to a spelling bee or something. No disrespect to spelling bee fans, but,
he's living life to his fullest, no matter what his limitations that others might view. He's not seeing them as limitations, and he's living it
after
up.
it.
So how do you raise money for this? So it's great. You found your cause. You found the thing that got you off that bar stool. You're training. You got your motivation. I'm sorry that you recently lost your mom. What is the way that people are actually like donating money for this? Is it just the ticket sales?
Yeah, so ticket sales and sponsorships. I have Mythology Distillery up in Steamboat. They were they're my biggest sponsor at this point. They got it, and the sponsors, if you sponsor, you can get a table. You can be a sponsor and not get a table if you want, and just have tickets to give to people. But so Mythology Distillery, it's a company that I have family that are involved with, and friends of my family that are involved with. My brother-in-law, Scott Berg, my sister, Sarah Berg. And he has some business partners that I'm also friends with as well. So they sponsored me. I was watching episode number 1 a couple months ago, I think, or maybe like, like 4 weeks ago. So Veritas Fine Broccoli. From episode 1, broccoli. Yeah. Veritas Fine Broccoli is another one of my sponsors. And then other people are doing donations. And then, yes, ticket sales go to my amount raised. But you can do donates.
And it's open to the public, right? So even if someone isn't going to buy a table, but they want to just go, they can, on June 13th at 7:30 at the Mission Ballroom, people can buy tickets and just see this event. Because you're not the only one fighting. How many people?
I believe we were talking, I believe there's 12 to 14 fights. So there's 12 to 14 fights. There's general admission, VIP tickets. VIP tickets come with an open bar. And Jake and I went last year with a bunch of our people, and we had a great time. I mean, even just
Ray found different motivation out of that than I did. I feel like he was like, "I'm going to sign up and do this." I was like, "I'm going to go home and throw up."
But yeah, so they have so they have the general admission, they have VIP tickets, and then they have the sponsorships where you can get a table, and then they also have a sponsorship where you can get the essential of like what club level seating would be. So there's a lot of different things that people can do, and it's just trying to get the word out through great people like you. I did a Haymakers for Hope podcast. That's Haymakers for Hope for the charity. I did that the other day, and then just get your text message on. And I got to try to learn I put some stuff up on Facebook, and now I got to try to learn how to use Instagram, which has been like more challenging than the freaking boxing training.
We're gonna help you out with that, with the I'm from Denver stuff. So that's part of why we're doing this, folks, is to raise some awareness.
Did you see his promo video? His little promo video was badass. That Ray has. Dude, dude, that thing was like, it really was like a Rockies thing. Like, I feel like we should.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's so good, and it's like a legit.
I'm gonna have to put it on my TVs whenever I have a party from now on.
100%. The production value was good, right?
It was so good. It was a legit, promo that you would see before a fight on HBO or any of that. I won't say Showtime, but we'll say HBO level. But it definitely was. And so it made me think, I was like, we just need to make him a video, Jake, put some Rocky music behind it. We need to do our own Denver montage.
Right? Here's the thing too. He actually would listen to those songs.
Listen to those songs.
I guarantee you when he works out, he listens to those songs. I know this guy.
Rocky won. I was born in 76. Rocky won the Academy Award in 76. Come on, baby.
I don't disagree with you, man. Great music, great soundtrack,
dude. I love it. I think
especially when he knocks the Russian out. I love that one. That's my favorite one.
It takes a lot of courage to just go out there and do something that you've never done before, especially at this level. And it's not just like going out there and boxing, like it's taking one day and hey, I'm going to go fight this weekend. You literally are getting up. We've talked about 4 a.m. in the morning, and we met at Jake's Hispanic Chamber of Commerce ceremony, and you had a black eye. You know what I mean? Like you broke your nose the other day and had to set it in place. This is something you've never done before, that you're actually getting out there and doing it, all because your mom is your motivation. And you referenced being at the bar. Obviously, that wasn't the point of that. The point is that it's like it motivated you to do something because someone that you cared for couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome.
Yesterday in balance,
So,
right?
Ray,
Yesterday, that was yesterday in
yeah.
balance. Jake knows, like, I love to have a great time. I'm a social person, but let's also balance, you know what I'm saying? And that's where it is. It's like one of the other things about the gym, which is super motivating, is Sweet, who I was mentioning earlier. He's 51 and he is in great shape. Awesome. Another dude, Sugar, who's just like another mentor, like just kind of, he's more like my Yoda and just gets in my head and help me with my weight loss and stuff. Sugar is in his 50s. DeVero's 55. Jake will attest to that. You don't know that. There's a gentleman we just call Doc. Again, no idea, Dr. So-and-so, because he's just Doc. Awesome dude. First time I trained with him at the beginning was on a weekend. He's a preventative medicine doctor, and he's 68, and we're doing suicide runs, you know, like basketball suicide runs. Yeah. And he's like, let's sprint the last one out. And I'm like, no, I can't. And I got this 60. That's motivating in its own right. But to also see that and Sweet being 51, this is something I had no idea about in the world of boxing.
Some of these people are on
Sweet's still amateur boxes, man. Like he has a fight in July in Michigan and a fight in August in Vegas in Vegas. A fight in Vegas in August, and he's 51 years old, man, and he's still boxing amateur. Like I didn't know it was golf. Somebody would have told me this like a long time ago. Who knows where I would have been in life, but I think that it would have been like, you know, like I didn't know you could box at 51 years old. It's amazing.
I love that all these guys that will destroy you or are in the best shape of their life have names like Sugar and Sweet. Like
it's so awesome.
I want to get to that in this gym, but I want to ask you a specific question real quick, Ray, because it's because I know you and because I love you, man. It's as I know, we like to party and have a good time, right? I've done this training. I did this training for a long time. Yeah. And so I know how hard it is. You getting into this, and obviously you can't drink, you can't do this kind of things. I could if I wanted to, but but it'd be dedicated. It'd be tough. Especially the way you're doing it right now. Going through the kind of tragedy that you've recently gone through, do you think that this was good, that it kind of not just kept you off the bar stool, but kept you on the straight and narrow? That because I never viewed you as like drinking because you were trying to get rid of something. You were more drinking because you were having fun. But you never clutched onto it, which really, to me, coming from the outside, seeing you and watching you do all this, some guys would clutch onto a vice at that kind of a moment. You haven't done that. You went the opposite direction and just really focused on this and stayed dedicated to it. First of all, I think your mom would be so proud of you. And I know for a fact that your family is proud of you. I know that your friends are proud of you. How do you see yourself carrying this forward? And if so, like how has it changed you in that dynamic? If you didn't clutch onto a vice, then how do you think it's going to be going forward once the fight
is this the vice now?
Yeah, that's I like both. The way that Wiggs put it is, you know, like that's great. And then the great question, Jake, is that just to start off, like we didn't, you know, going into it, obviously didn't anticipate my mom going down because that all happened. Yes, she had MS, but it was nothing MS involving. You know what I'm saying? It just happened. It happened really sudden.
Oh wow.
So, you know, whatever the power that might be there, that there is out there in the world, you know, our higher power, whatever you may believe in, had me in the perfect place for the worst thing to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was, I didn't want it to happen. I don't wish it didn't happen, but it happened. And the place I was in definitely, without me knowing it, was the best place I could be in at that time. Right. And yes, the thing that, you know, resonated with me internally, was that, like, I needed to be number one, because I do believe in a higher power. Somehow, you know, in my twisted head, I'm thinking that my mom's up at the lounge in heaven looking down on me with Sponsel, you know what I'm saying? And being like, let's get after it.
That's not twisted, man.
I got you. Well, not twisted, but you know what I'm saying? It's exactly like, I got like, you know, exactly part 2 in my head or something.
She's up there hanging out with my mom.
No,
dude.
you know where she's at, dude. They're both at the bar on the bar on the bar stool watching the fight on the
exactly.
TV.
Like it's how it's in my head, 100%. Even though my mom didn't really drink, but she's definitely there. You know,
she's got
still
some
having a martini.
She don't got to worry about it. She's doing backflips on a trampoline watching the TV. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I was in the best place I could be, and I didn't realize that that boxing gym became. Dude, I mean, I'm with these guys 6 to 7 days a week, right? You know what I'm saying? And you're going through the suck together, but you're still talking and laughing and having those conversations. So like the formship and that family bond forms quick. You know, they had my back. DeVero's talking me through stuff. The drinking thing didn't come to my mind because again, and that's why I brought up, Mom Up in Heaven, being able to see it on the big screen, is that I believe that she can see me and I don't want to disappoint her. Like, your parents are always, again, like Jake said, like, we're not drunks. We like to have a good time. But in the eyes of your parents, they always want us to tone it down. You know what I'm saying? And just get worried because they're not around us, right? And so I didn't, want her to be proud, still want her to be proud. And then on my family side, my 3 sisters and my dad, I needed to be a net positive for my family, not kind of Johnny Depp, not Captain Jack Sparrowing it through this thing, like, stumbling, bubbling, and making some funny jokes here and there, right? Like, I needed to be a net positive for my family.
Don't get me wrong, Ray. I do love that side of you. And by the way,
but there is a certain Jack Sparrow to it.
We have had some prolific conversations on those bar stools, my friend. We have solved
bar stools got me my brother, Jake Salazar, right? I
mean, let's talk about
on those bar stools.
Do you know your opponent? Like, how does that work? And so, like, are you going up and you're doing the press conference and you're side by side?
We didn't do a face off, bro, but it was actually better than that. I kind of think this is what they should do in professional boxing. Is so it comes out like we had like placeholder pictures of everybody before the media day. Because like I said, the production value that Haymakers for Hope does is amazing. They flew out a whole team from Boston that did this production. It was, Wiggins, you come from that world. It's, cameras on wheels and all the stuff and a green screen and all the things, right? Like it was the most intense thing I was part of. I felt cool. Like I felt way cooler than I should have. And, it was, dude. It was awesome, super dope. It was super dope. It made me feel pretty special, right? But also nervous. So you didn't know who you were going to fight. So since I'm 41, anything over 41, I believe, is considered Masters division, and then underneath is just normal amateur boxer. So there was only a few people. Chase and I were going through. We couldn't, trying to figure out who I was going to fight. So we did this. You spar your opponent so that people from the charity can see skill level, weight level at that time. We did that on April 7th, which is kind of about the halfway mark. And but you didn't know who your opponent was going to be until that Friday before, which was opening day. So I was out being a good boy. I went out with everybody on opening day, just drinking water. And I got a text that the fights came out. So I went home to start my Facebook stalking on who this guy's all about, right? So I go, Brian Grobe is his name. I look him up on Facebook. We're not friends, but I can see one of his pictures, is United States Marine Corps from back in the day. And I was like, okay. Okay. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, Ray, you don't know, and I have a lot of veteran friends, like Jake said, especially a lot of Marine friends. My boy Sponsel, who's passed as a Marine, one of my best friends, Ricky, he's a Marine. And because just for the people out there, you're always a Marine if you're a Marine. I was never a Marine, but like, don't ever say you're an ex-Marine to a Marine. You might get slapped, right? So, okay, so he's Marine. I get over that in my head. We get to the media day. I see him. Bigger boy, has a big old lumberjack looking beard. Just said, see you out there, bro. And we spar our 2 rounds. Had a good time. And afterwards, him and I start chit-chatting. And I was like, hey man, thank you for your service. And he's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I saw on your Facebook, I stalked you, so it's not considered stalking, I think, if you tell somebody, right?
Just creepy.
Yeah, just creepy. Right. Just weird. So I was like, yeah, I saw on your Facebook.
Yeah. That's what I pulled. That's what I told Haley Berry. I was like, it's so weird.
So I'd say that, and I was like, thank you for your service, because Jake and I really have America is Jake and I's favorite team, right? Like, I wear a lot of America stuff, you know what I'm saying? And America tattoos. And, and Brian, he's like, oh, where did you serve? And I was like, hey, man, I never served. It's just America's my favorite team, right? So some people got the Broncos. I got America.
We're also history.
Yeah,
We're
so
big time
then
history guys
we're
as
chit
well.
chatting, and this is the part, thank God, I couldn't figure out through Facebook before we sparred. Well, so we're chit chatting, and it just comes up, and then I was like, we're kind of just talking about boxing, our life journeys, whatever, just kind of some stories. And he's like, yeah, about 6 years after I got out of the Marine Corps, I went into the Army, and I was like, dude, that's so awesome, thank you. And then talk a little bit more, and I was like, what was your job in the Marines? He's like, I was a diesel mechanic.
See a Green
Yeah,
Beret or
something, but that's what I came to find out, right? So he's like, diesel mechanic. And I was like, so what was your job in the Army? Well, he's like, well, the Army, I went a little bit different route. You know, I was doing some special forces stuff. So in my head, I was like, so thank you, baby Jesus. I learned that after the spar, right? Because I just would have had like Rambo in my head.
Yeah.
Hey, Rambo, in boxing, there's rules.
And
though.
that's why I'm glad I found it out afterwards.
That's the difference, right? Boxing is different. Boxing, there are different things that you can and obviously cannot do. That can even that kind of a playing field for sure. If it was MMA, I'd be worried about
I feel you, bro. But I mean, it was fun, and I was glad after that. And then I felt a certain amount of accomplished because I was like, I just got in there with an American warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, that's badass.
So how do you feel now knowing him? You did your sparring session, you've gone through your training. Obviously, you don't want to go in there with pessimism and you're not doubting yourself, but how do you feel like you're going to perform? You're going to win this? Is there such thing? Like, can you knock out?
Yeah, you can knock people out. I think it'd be really difficult because I don't know. I don't know how difficult it'd be, but so in the Masters division, we're wearing 16-ounce gloves, and any amateur boxing, you're wearing headgear, right? But that doesn't matter. Like, you can see people get starched if you watch Olympic boxing and stuff like that. People get starched because, the headgear that I'm wearing, people can wear different types of headgear. The headgear I'm wearing is open face. And then there's some people that wear the ones that have the cheek pads and all that jazz. I'm wearing open face just because it's easier to breathe and I like my vision better. And pretty much DeVarrell told me that that's what I'm wearing. So yes, sir. But people can get starched. When we went to Golden Gloves, there were some standing 8 counts. And Brian can throw, man. I mean, he caught me 3 good times in our spar session where, I mean, I felt them. I didn't stumble, but I definitely felt them. Which was good and kind of exciting in the same route, right? But yeah, you can get knocked out and all that jazz. And yeah, the goal is to win. But one of the things that I've came to realize throughout this process is really all I can control is myself, right? So if I'm just preparing, not drinking, putting the right fuel in my body, getting to the weight that I needed to get to, which I thought when I started this thing was going to be impossible. Like in my head, I was like, when the fights, I was like, hopefully my guy will have trouble too, and we'll end up fighting at 215.
I didn't, man. The second you told me you were doing this, I was like, dude, he's going to lose.
Yeah, and that's what Chase said too, man. But I was worried about it. And I was calling Chase, and Chase is like, just give it time.
I want to cut weight. I call D. I'm like, yo, I need to cut 10 pounds. I'm going to hit the boxing gym.
Yeah, because me being the genius that I am, when I filled out the application around Christmas time, I was 223. Then I was like, well, I got to have all the stuff and all the things between now and first day of training. So first day of training, I was actually 231.7. So
wow.
I'm down to 203, baby.
Man, that's impressive. Man.
So
yeah,
that's some work right there.
The goal after this, all right, you have a great fight, you win this. To Jake's point, is this an ongoing thing or the training? Like
100%.
What do you envision?
Yeah, good question. Is because that's the main thing, right? It's like, well, not the main thing, but one of the main things now that I've started this process is like, I do love this, right? And how can I sustain this? Now, waking up at 3:25 a.m. is not going to be a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, that's not happening. But TOS, he starts at 5 a.m. and it's just Matt and I.
You've always been an early
so I'll do a 6 or 7 a.m. class, and then he also does weekends too. So like, I've thought about how can I sustain this? One of the things that was very helpful, and this came from Sugar, was counting my calories. I put an app on my phone to count my calories, and it's not freaking rocket science, but when you're seeing it in front of you, this is what I put into my body. This is X protein. This is X carbs. It's like, okay, let's get those carbs down and that protein up, right? Where before it was like Captain Crunch, cake, donuts, all the good and the yummy stuff. That has taken a switch, right? To getting that protein in there.
So what, you're drinking vodka now?
Yeah, right.
I'll
never drink vodka. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I have a question for you, man.
Can I finish this out real quick, Jake, with the sustainability? Because I just want other people to listen to this to know that it's a sustainable lifestyle.
Please.
That's what
we're here for, brother.
I could wake up, go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6, 7 a.m. session, right? He has showers there, and he has 2 full bathroom showers. You can shower, go to work from there. And then Saturdays usually are an 8:45 class. So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, do it. And he also does, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. sessions too. Hit it on Saturdays. That keeps me, doing fun things on Friday night, just without, tilting back the good old Mile High Spirits and Mythology whiskey. Right. And then, so, I mean, that's 4 days a week of high cardio training where your heart rate is good. So it's definitely sustainable lifestyle. And then I think I'm going to try my best to go out in August to Sweet's fight in Vegas to see what that's all about. Number one, I want to support him because he's been such a good assistant coach to me and has become such a good friend. But on the flip side, I want to see what this whole amateur tournament boxing's about. Like, who knows, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe we're getting in the ring a couple more times.
A good mutual friend of ours, Jason Rudy, works out at TOS, and he does those amateur fights out there, which is
it's a world
intense,
I did not know existed.
Another guy who's 50. Another guy who's 50 and looks 30.
Sweet just has this beautiful goatee. He's a black gentleman and nicest guy, one of the nicest guys you'll meet. But like, he looks like a dude who you would be like, that guy's a fighter, right? Has bald, has a goatee. The only reason you can tell he has a little wisdom and age behind him is because his goatee's gray. Yeah, but just great dude. But I'm gonna go check that out because it's like this, and those fights are 3 rounds as well. So it's the same concept of, well, it's not the same. It is what I'm doing, right? Like, that's what the Golden Glove stuff. Yeah. I didn't realize that you could be a Golden Gloves at this age, as long in whatever weight class I got to. Like, are you? Who knows?
You going for it?
Let's think about June 13th, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm about to get in there and start training.
But like June 13th is where all the eggs are in that basket right now. But the sustainability factor is definitely something I've thought about and I'm excited about.
June 13th, 7:30 p.m. The Mission Ballroom, Rumble in the Rockies 6, Haymakers for Hope. Ray's already raised $16,000, and it's all going for basically to fight cancer. It is to fight cancer and help those in need. So if you want to go to this event, you can get tickets at haymakersforhope.org. We might get a table. Who knows? I'm from Denver. We'll be there supporting you, Ray. We'll be there 100%. We'll throw up your video on our networks just so people can kind of see that. We might take credit for the production value. I'm just
hey, man, Haymakers for Hope. Haymakers for Hope will be just happy getting. Haymakers for Hope will be just happy getting the word out, right? Because they've already raised over like $25 million. They do this in different states as well. There's 1,200 alumni fighters, right? 43 boxing events in the books. And then they're the umbrella, and they support 175 different organizations as well. So, I did a podcast with the co-founder, Julie, and a gentleman named Todd, who's a boxing coach out of Boston that trains fighters for the Boston one. And they're great, man. They're just like you guys. It's just, the mission's cool. I met a lot of the people that were ex-fighters. That's another thing. Hopefully I'll be able to become, there's room for me in the Denver organization after this fight to be on the charity side of this thing.
Cool.
Nice.
And then the other cool thing is, so people can also make it personable for them, is the umbrella is Haymakers for Hope, but then Bags of Fun, they let you choose your own organization that a portion of your proceeds that you raise go to, right? So Bags of Fun is was my personal charity that I chose through a mutual friend of Jake and I's as well, Andrew Caldwell. He's involved with them because he knows the woman Tammy, who was the founder of that organization. And what they do, they start in Colorado. They're also in Nebraska now. And what they do is they put together Bags of Fun for the kids in the hospital. So I went boots on the ground. I went to their office to actually volunteer, just so I'm not flying their flag without knowing what the heck's going on, right? And
those are tough days, man. When you walk into those hospitals,
I didn't do the hospital thing. I just volunteered at their office to do the fun part. To put the bags together. But the bags together were fun.
I've done it, man. I've done the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I've done all that stuff, man. I mean, it's great to do it. Obviously, it's needed, man. Those are. When you walk in there and you see those kids like that, especially when you have kids and you think about, man, you really become thankful for their health and their and then their well being when you see
Right, but that's
other
going
kids
back to
going
the
through something
charity.
It
like that.
sounds like Jake's ready to
Yeah,
box.
baby.
In the-
If it's foot.
No,
Yeah,
I
his
can't, man.
foot.
So I hurt myself, and
Yeah.
you guys know that. But
Yeah,
Jared, he
baby.
could.
Yeah,
Jake and I were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, and you already got a nickname, man. So
Yeah.
we're good there.
Yeah,
So that was the one question I didn't get to ask you, Ray. I know what it is being in DeVeryl's gym. Everybody gets a nickname. I have my nickname. Have they given you a
man,
nickname
that's
yet?
on the other podcast. That's what they were asking me, and I was like, I feel like it might be like Ray hands up, Ray breathe, Ray push up, because like when you mess up it's you got to do push ups. It's like so.
I always call you Ray Rock.
Yeah,
man. That's
with the
you
boys
the
on
Rock,
Ray
man.
Ray, right? So.
Yeah, Ray,
I don't know. I was
Rock.
toying with it, like maybe because Ray came from what was it, that South Central movie from back in the day? I was thinking maybe Ray Show Yo Right Tomsick.
I like that. Have you decided what song you're going to come out to?
Yeah, there's two of them. I'll ask you guys your help on that afterwards, because I might try to do something where there's a vote. You know what I'm saying? So I got two. Well, we could say one's a Kid Rock song. I don't know what the rules are on here. So BFM,
You're good.
and
bad
bad motherfucker. I guess we've already been cussing because I'm on this thing and I haven't been watching my language.
Yeah.
So bad motherfucker. And then Roy Jones Jr. I didn't know he did rap back in the day.
I know that Roy Jones Jr. song. That's actually a really good song.
And that just kind of gets you into that groove, right? You just feel like pop, pop, right? So
I love it.
One of them, but I don't know. I might put that out there once you guys show this old man how to use Instagram and get a vote thing going or something.
We got you back. So you got to ask D what my old nickname was.
I'll holler at him tomorrow.
If you haven't already.
How dare you, Jake? I was going to ask. You can't make everyone ask someone else. You need to tell
just
everyone
bring it
right
out.
now.
We're on air. Come on.
This is a formal time in my life now. Okay.
Oh, I got so many things going through my head.
I know. So DeVero nickname.
Oh, dude, that's on point. He changed that to some good ones, baby.
Every time I walk in there, Jake, you're here early. I wouldn't expect that from a bottle service now.
Bottle service? That would look so dope on the back of a robe. You'd have to get sponsored. You'd have to get sponsored by Mythology or Mile High Spirits, right?
Oh, dude, he was relentless with it too.
Well, Ray, good luck, man. On June 13th, we'll be there. Maybe you'll be in my corner if I do this in a year
I
from
will
now.
come in and train with you. Wiggs.
I'll be there.
It's life changing. That's one thing, sir. Dude, it's the best thing I've done in over 20 plus years for myself, while also doing it for my family, for this charity organization, for both charity organizations, Haymakers for Hope and Bags of Fun, right? But it's the best thing I've also done for myself. Let's not get it twisted. There's been a huge net positive for Ray Tomsick. And I'm thankful to Chase Campbell. I'm thankful to Jake. We talked about it a lot. I'm thankful to my family and the charity, and of course thankful for DeVeril and Jennifer and everybody else at TOS, man, because that just the other unintended thing for other people out there that are looking for something in this world where people aren't going into the office anymore. And I've never really gone into an office in the last 20 some odd years with what I do for a living. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out and about. But I didn't realize how much I was missing that community. And when you get that consistently in a day, that's like this community of a family that's not work related, that's not seeing the Amazon delivery guy. It's a whole different thing, man. Like these people become great. So if you're in search of that with this world of working from home, I think that's a message that I really also want to get out there to the world, is go to a boxing gym.
There's a team in there, man. It really is a team, and it's more like a family when you really get involved. It's definitely a good support system, and it sounds great. Like your mental health, your physical health, are all humming, man. They're all on a good level right now. It's good to see you like
I
this,
appreciate
man.
that.
Well, your mom's gonna watch you on the big screen, man. So show her what's up and show everyone in Denver. Represent #IMFROMDENVER, and I hope you have a hell of a fight, man. And you beat a Marine, bro. That's bragging rights right there.
We still got a ways to go, brother. We'll do the high fiving and the cheerings after we're all done, right?
All right,
we'll be there for it.
We'll check in after that.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.